Welcome back to Turf Talk, Brass Tax Edition. Vance, we're inside 3 weeks to the Breeders' Cup World Championships. PPs are up at brisnet.com. We'll put a link in the description so people can start to get familiar with those contenders. Of course, race fans already familiar. PPs at this point just sort of let you compare and contrast, maybe see what numbers people got, etc. But 12 races to come inside 3 weeks. Which one race? I don't want a range. I don't want you to hedge. I want one race you're most looking forward to.
I'm looking forward mostly to the Distaff on Friday because I think I'm going to get a really good price. And Songbird's going to be a very heavy favorite. I think Stellar Wind is going to be a pretty good value. You know, if I can get 5-2, 3-1 on her, I think she's probably the best older filly and mare in the country, and she's produced some great numbers higher than Songbird. I think she's got a really good chance to land the 3-year-old her first defeat ever of her career.
Now, is this confirmation bias because you, unlike me, voted for Stellar Wind as champion 3-year-old last year?
No, it is not. She's confirmed to me that she is a very fast racehorse this year. She's beaten Beholder 2 out of 3 meetings. Beholder was an absolute monster last year when she won the Pacific Classic. Stellar Wind has taken that extra step forward this year, and like I said, she's going to be an overlaid price compared to Songbird.
All right, well, we have plenty of time to get into the Distaff and all the races, so I won't get too deep into the weeds of handicapping a race this far out. We agree on the race we're most excited about. We disagree for the reason. I'm hoping for the coronation of Songbird. And, you know, as a Brisnet guy, you and I are on the right horses, though. Stellar Wind has clearly been fastest, and Beholder's right there with her. On numbers, she really hasn't lost a step, as, you know, some would say. Stellar Wind, some pretty gaudy numbers. Songbird right there with them. Not as fast, but certainly faster than some of our competitors have Songbird on Brisnet. So for me, those two ding-dong late with Songbird winning would be the ideal as a Brisnet marketer. As a bettor, I certainly can't fault you with getting 3-4 times the price on a horse who's shown she's as fast and is a 3-year-old champion herself as Songbird will be.
Yeah, and to give Songbird some credit, she is going to have a little bit of a pace advantage over her 2 rivals. I presume she's going to go out to the lead like she normally does, and if she's not pressured, you know, it's going to be very difficult for Beholder or Stellar Wind to possibly run her down. So Songbird has a lot of advantages beyond, you know, speed ratings or whatever criteria you want to use going into the Distaff. But I'm hoping that 3-1 odds Stellar Wind can pull a minor upset.
So some very obvious favorites on the 2 days. Songbird, of course, one of them. Do you see her as the most vulnerable of those horses who are going to be 3-2 or less?
I would have a couple of weeks ago. Now I'm thinking a horse like Tepin, who we thought was going to be a real heavy favorite in the mile. Doesn't look quite as invincible after her recent loss at Keeneland. Granted, she wasn't totally cranked for that effort, but in the mile, there's another race I'm looking forward to because Ironicus is a horse I'm really excited about betting back. He's going to get a lot faster pace out at Santa Anita, and I was looking forward to watching him in this race a year ago before he got injured. So against Tepin, I'll take whatever price I can get on him too. It could be 3-1, 7-2, maybe a little bit higher. Who knows?
Yeah, I agree. I think she's just going to be overback because of who she is, and you know, there's going to be some good horses in there. Mondi Elise is one I'm interested in out of the same race. Ironicus is. Miss Temple City will be in there. Who knows what price she'll be? She's seemingly ignored. I don't think the secret's out, and Tepin's going to again, keep a lot of the money. So yeah, another race. And we'd be remiss if we didn't get to the Classic, which of course California Chrome. And to me, I slot him among the more likely winners on the 2 days.
Oh yeah, he's going to be easily 2-5, 3-5 in this Breeders' Cup Classic. Now I wrote a blog today kind of analyzing the Eclipse Award implications of the Breeders' Cup, and I said, you know, if he happens to lose to a Frosted or a Melatonin, you know, either of those 2 horses might, they will have a claim to being champion older male, maybe horse of the year, but I just don't see either one of those 2 upsetting California Chrome. He's just looked way too good all year long, and he just doesn't seem like he's going to bounce in a few weeks' time.
I agree. If it's not him, to me, it might as well be any of them, with the exception of the 3-year-old Arrogate, who, of course, if he ran back to his Travers, would...
Now, he would be the exception. Right. I could see him upsetting California Chrome, but the other 2, as good as they are, I just don't see it.
Yep. All right. And Nyquist will be in there too for entertainment purposes. Certainly not wagering for my money as a Derby winner. I would think he'll be an underlay off recent form.
Yeah, people on Twitter today have been talking, hey, what's his price going to be? 15 to 1, 20 to 1 seems like the proper price on him. And, just if he can just outfinish Arrogate, that's a moral victory for
Yes.
him, because that means he would have certainly clinched the 3-year-old title this year.
Well,
So,
for me, Arrogate has to win. Even second to Chrome is, as we've talked about, to me, not enough for a champion 3-year-old.
well, if he loses to Chrome but runs a good second or so, he's going to be wheeled back and running the Clark handicap. The season for Arrogate won't be over if he just
Good point.
loses by a minor margin in the Breeders'
We'll
Cup.
take charge style.
It will be will take charge style for sure.
All right. Any other names or races to throw out there? We'll, of course, be talking more over the next couple weeks, but anything strike your fancy
I'm just
early on?
kind of interested to see how certain horses do. Lady Eli is going to be a favorite in the Filling Mare Turf, although there's going to be some nice European fillies come over.
Yeah.
We'll see how she handles them. And then in the Turf, I'm very interested to see if Flynn Scher can bounce back. I know he ran second to Main Sequence out there a couple years ago. He's coming off a loss on soft ground. He's going to like the return to firm turf. I would really like to see him win this race and certainly cement a turf championship.
Yeah, and a win certainly would do that. I'm a little. He's a horse that I have some nerves about because it seems like he's the type. If I single and everything, he beats you, and then you think, well, maybe I can beat him, and you're 5 or 6 deep, and he runs off the TV set at 3-2. So
Yeah, and he hasn't been facing the toughest company in New York. I mean, his wins there this year have been very stylish, but with the exception of Ironicus, who is stretching out from a mile to a mile and a quarter, he hasn't been severely tested too often this year. I think a lot of the time that backfires on horses. When they don't get adequate tests during the course of the year, they'll bomb, or a little less than a bomb against
not win.
Yeah. Versus a lot tougher fields, and we've seen that time and time again, all across all divisions, across all years. So.
Yeah, and not applicable to him. He is an older horse, but you're talking about that reminiscent to me of Kitten's Joy. As a 3-year-old, ran up against Better Talk Now, an older horse, and Kitten's Joy had won the Hirsch before that, but just not the level of competition you see at the Breeders' Cup. So definitely something good to keep in mind. We did not talk about any of the 2-year-old divisions, which is good because we saved something for next week, and we'll know more about those fields after this week as well. So shall we pencil in next week for some 2-year-old conversation?
Let's talk juveniles. Let's talk Derby Oaks contenders for next year.
All right, sounds good. That'll be next week. Thanks for joining us this week. Looking forward to Breeders' Cup.